Hello buddy, it's Wyvern here with another bit of Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer gameplay. This time around we are on the steppes of Galbaraz playing as the forces of chaos against the forces of the High Elves. In this case, a bit of a training match between myself and my good friend Alacrity. And for this matchup, I don't play too much chaos, and I really want to see how well Chosen with Great Weapons would perform against the High Elves, because I'd heard quite a lot about how well this unit can perform in this matchup, and I wanted to see just how reliable that was. Chosen, of course, with their monsters' armor and very high HP pool, are a problem for High Elves. High Elves do not have cheap AP options. They're not a faction with guns. They're not a faction with Starfire shafts. They don't have cheap great weapons necessarily. White Lions certainly on the cheaper end, but they don't really have great cheap AP options. And much of their expensive AP options are threatened by either big monsters or by Hell Cannons. For example, Sisters of Avalorn might seem like a strong choice against Chosen, as might Swordmasters, but a Hell Cannon is a big threat, and that does make it difficult for the High Elves to build against Chosen. Certainly Plague of Rust might counter one, but in this case, our build is entirely centered on them, and we actually got 3 of them. So going over the composition here, I'm rocking Kolek Suneater for my Lord. I think he's an excellent choice against High Elves with his, once again, very good armor of 95, missile resist, and incredible combat stats, plus solid weapon strength. He can really zone away and threaten Dragon Lords that might be trying to cycle charge you. He can really beat the crap out of Star Dragons, Sun Dragons, Phoenixes, threaten and scare away units like Fireborn or Dragon Princes, and punishes your opponent for trying to dive into your Chosen. Obviously, with the mass changes, these Chosen are now much more resilient to chariot charges as well. They can actually kind of trap units and beat the snot out of them in melee on their own. A Chaos Sorcerer of Shadow is coming in on horseback. Now, certainly a little bit of a risky choice here. He will be very vulnerable with only 2900 HP. Obviously, decent armor, but kind of vulnerable to sniping, especially from Fireball or Spear Leech, stuff like that. He does have Enfeebling Foe here, in case I get Kolek in a duel against, say, Imrik or perhaps a Star Dragon. This could be very useful. Penumbral Pendulum to potentially cleave away enemy infantry, especially in backlines. Obviously, your Chosen probably don't need too much help against anything except Swordmasters, but you do want something to prepare for him. And do keep in mind, with no Hell Cannon, I don't necessarily have the best counters here to Swordmaster Rush. So it was something I had to keep in mind. And finally, Melkoth's Miasma to potentially snare opponents, keep them trapped on the ground, where I can beat them up with other units. 4 Marauders are giving me a little bit of width to this Chosen build, and of course the Chosen there acting as an anchor. And then we do have a mix of Marauder Horsemasters and Horsemen on either flank, there to zone away Illyrian Reavers. And, of course, pressure Alacrity's backline if we get the opportunity to. Though, in this case, neither of us brought a black backline, so there's actually not going to be too much for either side's skirmish cap to pressure, besides pushing at each other. Now, for Alacrity's army here, he has gone with a Princess atop a Moondragon, so not necessarily the most elite combatant in melee, but we do see a wonderful array of missile pressure. And of course, if you're facing off against, say, Hell Cannon, Princess is kind of difficult to shoo away. She's got 180 range of her own, volley of high arrows, stack that on Soul Quench from a Mage of High Magic here. She's pretty potent. And of course, Foe Seeker to help her position a little faster. We also do have a Mage of High Magic over here with Soul Quench, Apotheosis, and the Shield of Sapphire. Surprisingly, no Hand of Glory, which I would feel is a strong choice to buff up, say, Fireborn, or more importantly, White Lions of Krace in sustained combat. Perhaps the money just didn't add up. Perhaps you really wanted that Book of Hoeth. Illyrian Reavers out on the flanks are going to be skirmishing with my Horsemen and my Horsemasters, and Tyrannok Chariots, a very solid choice, once again, to zone away Chaos Skirmishers, which obviously this build is designed to deal with a Hell Cannon. Skirmishers, of course, very hard for Hell Cannon to shoot down. Tyrannok Chariot, hard for Hell Cannon or Horsemasters to counteract. Finally, for his main line there, Alacrity does have 3 spears as his holding force, 2 White Lions of Krace, and then a single unit of Fireborn, providing some anti-large punch. But not too much AP, no armor debuffs, and so that could give us some potential. Now over here we are going to see a nice Soul Quench attempt. Soul Quench does fire off. I see it last second, and you can see here I'm trying to reform my Chosen into a line like this to avoid the fire to my best my ability, but I kind of fail, take 15 models off there, so big loss there on the Chosen, and definitely not what I wanted in life. But you know, it is what it is. You can't always get what you want, and we're gonna have to settle for pressuring the Princess instead. So she was here chipping away at Kolek, already did a decent amount of hurt, but we're not having any of that. We're gonna pressure her back, and of course these Illyrian Reavers don't really want to commit to this fight. Illyrian Reavers can do a decent number on horsemen, but if they got trapped in combat here, these two would definitely lose against 5 units of horsemen. That's and horsemasters. And we are able to screen away this princess here, forcing her back, doing some damage, but certainly Apotheosis could bring her back easily. In the meantime, Chariot's over here running amok over top the poor Marauders, really not suited for that sort of thing. But, you know, they're trying. They try their best. While in the meantime, the Chosen Mob does approach on the infantry. Now you can see there the shift from Alacrity, trying to push the infantry over to the flank here and avoid to or leave an engagement. Doing a good job of stringing me out. As you can see, my horsemen all the way back here, the caster here, Kolek's all the way up here. But the Chosen are slowly but surely making their way forward. And it's really the Chosen who are a threat here. The Marauders might die, they might get picked off, but it's all costing a lot of ammo. And it is costing time and some HP every now and then from units like this dragon, for example. Now you do see Apotheosis go down, but as the princess is here on ground level on terra firma, she is going to take a peppering from the javelins, and with only 60 armor to protect her, really not the tankiest lord. Really not where she wants to be in life. Over here in the meantime, Chosen plow into the spears. This is going to be an ugly fight over here. Chosen going after the White Lions, and yeah, White Lions, a great weapon infantry, not with enfeebling foe, not with Chosen up in their face. And these Chosen combatants of the Dark Gods are going to have an absolute field day against the White Lions, just chopping them down to size in seconds. Only one model lost there, doing an excellent job. These Chosen over here, the ones that did take a nasty Soul Quench earlier, are also chopping down models here on the White Lions. Melkoth's Miasma going down. As you can see, all along the line, I'm trying to weaken Alacrity's infantry, crack them, crush them, break them, and then that will free me up to just maintain formation with my infantry, sort of a box perhaps, and screen out the cavalry. Now over here, unfortunately, a bit of a flanking maneuver gone wrong. I was trying to pressure the princess, and yeah, getting pressured here by Illyrian Reavers. Not ideal. Horsemasters getting caught, and despite their solid leadership and combat stats, they are going to rout here, terror kicking in. Not where I wanted to be in life. Definitely a big misplay. However, in the meantime over here, we're able to screen away some Illyrian Reavers while there was a little bit of lapse in micro. And the Fireborn here getting hit by an Apotheosis. I'm not sure if that was a misclick, if that was aimed for the Spearman. Definitely a little unfortunate. But in the meantime, the Chosen able to overwhelm the White Lions, crack this main line, and we have definitely gotten ourselves a nice little win on the front line here. So the infantry is gone. The infantry is in full flight. Fireborn getting chipped down by Javelin fire. And although Kolek is going to take a beautiful volley of high arrows over here, we are finding ourselves in a dominant position. Certainly the balance of power might not be showing it. There's still a lot of room here for Alacrity to make a comeback, but with the infantry gone, it's going to be very hard for this cavalry to dish out some proper hurt to, especially the Chosen. The Chosen still have good HP, and there's only so many Soul Quenches you can cast. So many breath attacks from the princess. Now she's going to try to get cheeky here, dive in on the Chosen, who already up to 2 chevrons here. Going to have none of it. Actually going to get a nasty surround here on the Mage of High Magic. And this is where this new mass mechanic is coming in clutch. You can see, or the new knockback mechanic. Mage not able to push through. Her mass just isn't that good, and she is taking a beat down from those Chosen, walloping. So that Ithilmar Chariot not able to hold up. Feebling Foe going down, just trying to keep her trapped here and kill her if possible. Mage going in for the killing blow. But a nice little breath attack attempt there will help clear her off. Helps sweep some of the Chosen away. Helps the Mage get a little bit of speed going and escape the Horsemen, who were desperately trying to get in here, throw a few javelins at her, and crack her defense. Dragon is going to dive in here, crashes into the Horseman, is going to cause a quick rout. But in turn, the Princess is now trapped on the ground level, and we're, once again, keeping our fast movers on top for Kolek coming in the distance, and things are looking dire for the High Elf forces. Their leadership is trapped on the ground. They're not really able to take off. You can see my Mage is in there, and the Chaos Sorcerer with 315 weapon strength able to dish out some damage. Kolek coming in for a walloping blow, looking to land a hit here. Just takes a swing at the princess, chunks her down. I try to snare her with Melkoth's Miasma. Obviously not going to do a lot of damage to her, but if I can keep her on the ground with that 24% speed debuff, we will have a big win for ourselves there. Trying to nail her. Apotheosis goes down. Kolek lands another swing, though it actually looks like it missed. But now the Fireborn do countercharge, and that is definitely an issue. Fireborn, not good for Horsemen. They will demolish Horsemen. They will demolish Horsemasters. You will get wrecked in horrible fashion. So we're actually going to pull away there with the Horsemen, trying to evade the pressure. Alacrity, they're throwing everything into the fray just to stop us here. But Kolek taking his swings there. Fireborn losing 4 models, and the Chosen are in the fray. The Chosen of the Gods here. No, actually, these aren't the Chosen of the Gods. These are just plain Jane Chosen, but they are unleashing some unholy damage on these Fireborn, just tearing them to shreds. Enfeebling Foe goes down, Breath Attack melting Kolek over here, and it is just a slogfest of epic proportions. Many of these Fireborn trapped on the wrong side of the lines here, wrong side of the Chaos lines. Alacrity trying to pull away, but Kolek and the Chosen just tearing them to shreds, dishing out that 50 weapon strength AP, and slowly but surely chewing that elite high elf cav down. Now certainly some of these Chosen fleeing here, 17 models, not much HP left, all they can do, but this core holds strong, and this is going to be a problem now. There's still 2 Chosen on the field, one of them practically at full HP. Marauders have some HP. Kolek still has a little bit of HP, certainly not in peak shape, but we are going to drop Venerable Pendulum here, and I'm actually looking to cleave through some of this infantry, clear it out, get some of the damage on the Fireborn. Kolek actually getting broken here a little bit, taking a lot of damage from the Princess, but it is not going to be enough. Drops to 1800, but the High Elves shatter before they can do much more. And a Pyrrhic victory for Chaos. So really well played to Alacrity, a lot of back and forth there, and I think ultimately one of the prevailing features there was just the Chosen being such sturdy beasts that stuck around to endgame and were ultimately a threat that could not be contended with. This build here, while I think it would be solid against a build, for example, centered on a Hell Cannon, which you will often see from Chaos, or perhaps a more Shaggoth heavy build where you could get some excellent ship damage with these Elite Reavers, some excellent ship damage with Tyrannok and the Princess. Against Chosen, the tools are simply not there. Now, the Chosen did not necessarily crank out the biggest damage numbers. One of them here sitting at 1700 damage value over 8k HP, crumped on the Mage, crumped on the Fireborn, of course, and of course, just did some great work there. But the other units' damage output doesn't look that great. That said, they cracked the White Lions. They were essentially a win condition. It's rare that you see infantry as a win condition. But essentially, Alacrity had nothing to deal with them. So once we were able to clear off the White Lions and trap the Fireborn in a very bad position due to the Princess being forced to overextend, that knockback change, trapping the Mage definitely hurt there. Allowed the Chosen to do some nasty work, force the Princess's hand and open the path for some juicy damage to be done. And the Chosen essentially cleared out the units that could threaten them, and at the end game there was almost nothing that could really do damage to them. Chariots, light chariots like this will get stuck, they'll get crumped. A Princess, certainly decent, but ultimately on a Moondragon, not that much of a contender with Chosen. There's a good chance you'll get stuck and beaten down. And yeah, of course Spears can't really do much, especially after that initial slog when they lost hard. You can see their damage numbers, you just not do well. The High Elf infantry was just not able to perform, and it hurt them quite badly. Besides that, Marauders, they did okay. As you can see, their damage numbers weren't anything too crazy, though certainly better than the Spearmen. The Marauder Horsemen, surprisingly dishing out some good hurt. Obviously, that pressure they applied to trades with the Elite Reavers were very effective. Trades with the Princess, very, very effective. All in all, I was pretty pleased with this army's performance. Even the Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows here, racking up some major damage with those Penumbles and the Melkos Miasmas. And, of course, it's hard to gauge just how much value Apotheosis had for the Mage, or how much value the Enfeebling Foe had for the Chaos Sorcerer, because it helped one of these Chosen win that fight very quickly against the White Lions. For Alacrity here, excellent usage of the Princess. She's a really strong contender in this matchup. Unfortunately, just can't carry an entire army on her back, and 2500 damage value, definitely solid. She almost killed off Kolek, and I'm pretty sure it was a cheaper investment. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly sure Princess is cheaper. Princess with the kit, Alacrity right here, was cheaper than Kolek. Spears, unfortunately, just did not pay, and that was the real killer here. I think the infantry corps just did not perform. Fireborn got a little bit trapped, definitely didn't do what they hoped for. The Skirmish Corps did all right, but they couldn't deal with the win condition here. If I lost all of my Marauder Horsemen, so be it. Sucks, but I can live without that. But as long as the Chosen and Kolek are around and kicking, that's a win. Whereas, for me, as long as I managed to crush this central pocket of infantry and remove any support from the mobile forces, we were then in a very strong position. So a little bit of trade there. I'm not sure I have great recommendations here. Perhaps trying to remove these Spearmen in favor of Rangers just to clear away the chaff could be a decent move, or perhaps getting 2 more White Lions instead of 3 Spears could be an alright decision there. I simply don't think the Spears really performed very well there, and they just were not able to earn their value. But Alacrity is a very competent High Elf player, so I'm sure there were some ideas that he'd have to pitch there. So regardless, the princess really did some major work. Only a little unfortunate that mage didn't land a really nice soul quench early on. That could have swung the tide there. Definitely one nice counter to the chosen, but I think you just need a little more AP punch here. Maybe a hand of glory just to get a little more value out of the white lines when you're fighting chosen. Or I don't know how white lines would perform, but maybe those. So it's a little tough to gauge exactly what the counter to chosen would be without building around, say, sword masters. Or building around Sisters of Avalorn. But regardless, well played to Alacrity here. One of several practice games we ran, and actually hopefully I'll be getting some more of those up soon, because we really did have some awesome games back, some great back and forth action, and I'm hoping to get more of those up in the near future. But regardless, big thanks to him for the games. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Wyvern out.